Today, we're going to be speedrunning Starfield New Game Plus, so let's get into it. The run starts out when we move our character for the first time, and immediately we'll open quests and fast travel. After our weird alien ship is scanned for contraband, we can now start traveling to Constellation. For our strategy, the most important perks to have is rank 4 of lasers, rank 3 of heavy weapon certification, rank 4 of boost pack training, 1 rank in stealth, and as high rank as possible for persuasion. Other than that, things like wellness, fitness, medicine, among others will provide nice benefits that could increase speed, but aren't necessary. For ranking up the lasers and heavy weapon, you can either run through New Game Plus and just kill everyone you see with the cutter, or go to a planet with high fauna like Subterrace 4 and get kills that way. Once we get to Constellation, we tell Sarah we're Starborn in order to skip the main quest. She will then give us some money, a cutter, and a random weapon. If for whatever reason you do not see Sarah here, it's not going to be fast, but it may be really fun. And if you want to reset it, you'll need to go to a save before entering the Unity. This can be pretty annoying since that'll rerun the credits and everything, but you can also use this trick to force the different outcomes without playing through the whole game. After talking to Sarah, we need to head to the Eye. Hail it and dock, and then talk to Vlad. He will give us the location of 6 artifacts. We're going to go through the list in the order he gave it to us, starting with Maheo. This one is pretty straightforward. We just need to travel to the cave entrance, but this will also be our first fight. The weapon Sarah gives us is very strong, but it's also very inconsistent if we want to do mini runs. So we'll be using the cutter. It's modified by both heavy weapons perk and lasers perk, so it does a lot of damage. Once in the cave, we mostly just need to head downward as much as possible and then follow the blue dot. Then when we get to the artifact, a Starborn spawns. All we need to do is just get out our cutter, kill him, and grab the artifact. After that, we just need to fast travel to the next location. One thing to note here is he does put a damage over time on us, and we need to wait for our HP to stop going down before fast traveling. Next up, for Artifact 2, we will be infiltrating a base, but we don't need to fight anybody. Just immediately take a left, go to the artifact, and grab it without standing in the toxic pool right outside of it. After that, we can exit the cave and then fast travel to our ship. The way fast traveling works in Starfield is a little weird. We cannot fast travel to the next location while in combat, but we can fast travel to our ship. The only limitation here is we can't fast travel to our ship if we are falling or if an enemy is too close. So even if we're in combat, we can still get this fast travel to our ship, as long as there aren't any enemies super nearby. The next artifact is a little different. It's in a base that we'll need to navigate through. It's easy to get turned around, but the main thing is, once we enter the large room, we jump down and immediately turn around. This will take us right to the artifact. In order to save time, we're going to set the Starborn on fire, grab the artifact, and then kill the Starborn. This should allow us to become hidden quicker than if we just kill the Starborn first. Once we're hidden, we can fast travel to the 4th artifact. Here, we're once again infiltrating a base. We do need to open the door with the console next to it, which luckily we can use while in combat, so no killing necessary. We open the door, head down into the lab, and then enter the door with the blue marker. This will lead us to a mining shaft where we need to take a right and then choose the left path. We then pick up the artifact, but we cannot fast travel out of this location no matter what. So we need to go back the way we came. It's important to keep our boost pack full through the mine shaft. That way we can jump over the horde of enemies at the very end and not get stuck. But after getting over them, we go through the door, and then now we need to find a spot that's far enough away from enemies in order to fast travel back to our ship. We travel for a bit, and then we're able to get the fast travel off. The 5th artifact is very easy. We travel to the cave, drop down, turn around, and the artifact should be right there. Then we ignore the Starborn while picking up the artifact, leave the cave, and fast travel to our ship. We do this because for whatever reason, we cannot fast travel from inside this cave. Next, we get to the 6th and final artifact where we just need to run through the base. We can use the blue arrows on the scanner to help, but mostly it's just going door to door, until finally we make it to the artifact and pick it up. After picking it up, we need to crouch until we are hidden. This usually takes 20 to 30 seconds. We actually got lucky here and the enemies gave up looking for us super quick. This saved a ton of time. We fast travel to the lodge, talk to Sarah about how we can still be friends, and then tell her to give us all her artifacts. And finally, fast travel to the final mission portion. This section is where most time save and loss will happen because the fights here are tricky to navigate. While talking to the emissary and the hunter, we spam A, which will get us the emissary as our buddy, making the final fights a bit easier. And then we get to the most annoying part of this run and stupid design. We need to grab jump to every system along the way to the actual place we want to go. Even though we've done this a bunch of times, doesn't matter, we haven't discovered it, grab jump to every place. Once we do that, we can start the final fight with a ship battle. Our ship is super strong, so it isn't a big deal. Just basic ship fighting mechanics, and then we head on down to the surface. Here, health can become an issue even on very easy. The bodies along the path have RNG loot that often contains med packs. This run is going great, and we still have a couple of the original 5 that Sarah gave us. Hopefully we can avoid having to spend time on loot. We take the path up here since the enemies spawn up high, and once they spawn, we immediately start beating them down. The cutter can almost one-shot people with a full clip, but this fight has a ton of RNG in it. All the enemies spawn in random spots besides the first 3, and they frequently teleport around. But using the blue blue markers, we hunt them all down until we can finally move on. I do make a mistake towards the end by jumping down when the final enemy is up high, but this doesn't lose too much time, and because of the ship fight and fast travel on Artifact 6, we're significantly ahead of the world record. For the second fight, we need to kill the reanimated corpses in order to spawn in the boss. Basically, we want to use the radar in the bottom left of our screen to find the red dots, seek them out, and kill them. After killing 5 or 10 of them, the boss will jump in. She will always teleport multiple times, but on this run, we get super lucky because she only teleported a small distance. This saves a ton of time because normally you need to chase her down all across this little area. And now, after picking up the key, we're a full minute ahead of the world record, so nerves are starting to pick up. Next, we go into a vision of ourselves and just need to run through it nice and easy. And that leads us to a super chaotic fight that is actually not too difficult. One enemy always spawns up top, and yeah, we just kill her in a single clip. Next, we get to the second enemy, kill him in a single clip, and can move on. There are turrets and robots and everything attacking us, but these two enemies don't teleport and don't have a ton of HP, so it's very quick. Next up, we get to the vision of the collector. We don't really have time for a discussion, so we'll just need to loot him a different way. Open his locked door and move on. Next, we go down the elevator, spawn into some dumb scene we don't care about since we're speedrunning, immediately leave it, and now we're getting into the most inconsistent fight with a huge lead over the world record. Once the elevator lands, the most important thing to grab here is Frostwolf. This gives us 40% extra damage, which is really going to help for the final fight. The way this works is there's a bunch of duplicates of us and the emissary running around. They're all just distractions from the boss. We play hide and seek and try to find the boss as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, we are not getting super lucky, and we can't find the boss anywhere. I'm looking around, I'm getting panicked, I'm watching my run disappear, but eventually she gets tagged with the blue dot, can head right over and unload the cutter into her. Now she disappears, and I once again can't find her. I'm getting a little stressed here, but eventually I do find her, finished her off, and now we have one final section, Persuasion random RNG. Here we need to convince the final boss that we shouldn't fight. So we quick save before we talk, and he's not convinced. This fight takes multiple minutes, so all we can do is try to convince him again, but this time it works. We then talk to the emissary, grab the final artifact, and then grab jump to the nearest system. By grab jumping, we avoid the takeoff animation. But once we're in space, we can stand up, build the armillary, and power up the grav drive one more time. This brings us to the Unity where we can walk in and get a time of 36:27, still beating the world record by about 30 seconds. Now, if you want to watch the full run with my live reactions, click here. I love doing this run. I'm really excited to see how fast it'll be a year from now. Surely there'll be more glitches and strats, and I'm going to try my best to continue getting world records in all kinds of Starfield categories, especially as they become more competitive. Is this peaking?